All right. So yeah, I'm Makai Pressa, and I'm going to be talking on postmodern architecture here. Don't want to waste any time, so let's just get into it. First off, we got the definition. This is coming from our textbook. A style of art. So, what is postmodern architecture? It's a style of architecture that uses different, even contradictory elements of design. All right, so and then let me go into a little bit more of like the agenda here. So we'll go over the influences, then go into the examples. So first with the influences. So we got the response here. The response, this is like coming postmodernism. So it's like going off of the modernist movement for architecture. And what they kind of found was like with modernist architects, they were kind of exclusive, elitist. Not a lot of people understood like kind of like what they were doing. It required a lot of explanation to kind of understand what the purpose of like their structures were. And so it was just hard for everybody. And this was their response. They're just like, we're going to make stuff that's like easy to understand for people. And it actually came from Robert Venturi. He like wrote a book in 1966 titled "The Complexity and Contradiction in Architecture." And in that book, he's kind of praising Roman and Baroque architecture, like structures, and how they're ambiguous, and everybody kind of like understood them, that kind of thing. And then he and his like romantic interest, Denise Scott Brown, wrote another book called "Learning from Las Vegas." And that's how they kind of were just learning how like Las Vegas kind of had some structural ideas that not of a lot of other cities in the world had, and it just like made for really clear communication as to like what those structures purposes were. And now we'll get into this. So a known architect is Renzo Piano, and he created this structure. So he's an Italian architect, and what we can kind of see from this is like he turned this museum, the Pompidou Center, like inside out, literally. So we have like the HVAC, AC units, like all you can see from the outside. Escalator, you can see that that's the thing going across and like the diagonal line. Outside as well with the elevator inside with the orange. So you got the colors, you got diagonal lines, and then it's just kind of a movement that's like people are supposed to relate with this more. So I mean, it's a museum that's trying to kind of expose society, right? And this is kind of like what the structure is trying to do as well, just kind of expose itself, kind of the workings of everything. So really revolutionary there. Then we have Frank Gehry. I actually saw this one in my mission, the Disney Concert Hall. It's really just a cool place. Another common characteristic of these designs is like these structures is it almost looks like it wouldn't be structurally sound. You know, it's like those diagonal lines and curves and stuff. It's like how is that even standing? You know, but it is obviously structurally sound. And yeah, this one was really cool. Good place to visit, where there aren't necessarily a ton of tourists. But I would always go on Mondays since it was P day, so I don't know. And then just to kind of contrast this for you guys, this is a modernist stadium in Chile, made by Mario Recordon. And as you can see, this just kind of like makes sense. You know, it just serves a purpose. A lot of people can come here to see Chile and Colo Colo play. And then to contrast that, Renzo Piano also made a stadium, and this one was for the 1990 World Cup. So this one from above kind of looks like a flower. It has like 26 petals, if you will, or like structures. As you can kind of see, they're like divided there. And then from the ground, it is known locally as like a spaceship. As you can see from the bottom left picture, the stairs going up to the upper tier of the seats kind of look almost as if it's like legs coming off that spaceship and it's like landing. So it's just a beautiful monument for these people to kind of like realize, and a lot of different things obviously going on here that wasn't necessarily like seen everywhere else, as we saw with like the other one. This just makes sense, structurally sound, and it's just meant to fit a lot of people, but it's all like very solid. This one on the other hand was very light. It almost looked like it was like floating off the ground. You know, that's why another reason why they called it a spaceship. So again, structurally, like progressive with this. And then for my last example, I just got Frank Gehry again. This is at Venice, another one of my areas. Their concert hall and this are actually my area, though I never actually saw this one. But this one I feel like just communicates a message that's very clear to me as well. This is right on the beach, and this is kind of like a tree house, you know. So it kind of goes back to those childish like ambitions where you just want to like chill on a vacation, you know. And it's all this was all made with very like cheap materials too, which is encourages like a lot of inclusion between like societies and everything as well. And yeah, that's everything I got for you guys. Hopefully that's less than 5 minutes or around there.